Some 4.5 billion years ago, this Earth was just a celestial body, a hellscape, born from gravitational collapse of solar nebula. This place was not favorable for life. Everything was extremely hot, atmosphere was toxic, clouds were raining acid-like substance. It could not sustain life at that time. Then slowly and gradually started to cool down. The water vapors they condensed into oceans, and then it became slightly favorable for life to take its course. Then some 3.8 billion years ago, single-celled molecules they started to replicate themselves and encasing themselves with fatty membranes. Eventually came the Cambrian period, which happened around 500 million years ago. Now, during this Cambrian period, single-celled living organisms they started mingling with other single-celled living organisms. Now, this period was called the Cambrian period. So those single-celled, finally, when they mingled with other single-celled organisms, they became multicellular living organisms. And then the evolution started. Life started. From those multicellular living organisms came forth different species from oceans, like the amphibians, tadpoles, fishes, creatures that would crawl on their bellies. Even the lungfish came into existence. Then, some 250 million years ago, an asteroid collided with Earth, essentially destroying all life on Earth. If I would make a guess, I would say around 90% life was killed because of this collision, including the dinosaurs. Then 66 million years ago, this evolution started once again. And then we had different sorts of creatures, different mammals, towering ferns. We had all sorts of animals. Life started to thrive. This is when the actual evolution happened, which also sometimes baffles some different groups of people, especially the religious ones. So to say the evolution began from bacteria or single-celled organism wouldn't be wrong. The evolution kept happening. We all kept evolving until around 50,000 years ago. That's when the cognitive revolution happened. So what's cognitive revolution? This is when, for the first time, our ancestors they started using sounds to communicate. For instance, if somebody was on top of a mountain and the other one was on land, the one on top of the mountain would use his sound to communicate and tell the person on land that, look, I am hungry, get me some food. So this was happening 50,000 years ago. Now, what makes us different than other creatures living on the face of this earth? Honestly, it's gossiping. So gossiping single-handedly played the most vital role in our evolution. Hence came into existence Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens, the wise human being, coming from Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and so on and so forth. Some people say we have evolved from chimpanzees or monkeys. That's not completely true. We do share common ancestors, but that's it. We have all evolved from bacteria, single-celled organisms, fish. We came from sea creatures onto the land ones. Then we became these mammals. Slowly, gradually, we started growing bones, the backbone, and that's how we came into existence. Then, some 10,000 years ago, began the age of agricultural revolution. This is when we started to settle down in tribes, different settlements, different nations. We started to grow our own food. Instead of living life like hunter and gatherers, we started to grow our own food. Like we had different crops, wheat, rice, grains, etc., etc. This is when many of the great civilizations of the past came into existence as well, like the Mesopotamian, ancient Mesopotamian, ancient Chinese, ancient India, etc. People started to thrive in these settlements, different tribes, different regions. Until my favorite part of history, the scientific revolution, which happened somewhere around 500 years ago, during the 15th, 16th centuries. This is when we started to think, to contemplate, to look beyond our imagination, to look beyond the normal things. We started to explore what's outside the earth. We started to wonder what's happening in the universe. We started to wonder why people die. This was scientific revolution. We started making different technologies. We started working on the theory of evolution. This is when we found out that how the universe came into existence, the Big Bang. So everything today, everything that we know, all these amazing technologies, even this camera I'm using to speak to you guys, to everything came into existence after this scientific revolution, which started somewhere around 500 years ago. It's my favorite part of history. Some very enlightened beings came into existence, like Sir Charles Darwin, the great mind who came up with this theory of evolution. Honestly, I have nothing against this theory of evolution. I don't see it conflicting with anything. In fact, if we completely negate theory of evolution, we cannot make antibiotics, we cannot make vaccines. So everything that we use today, every medicine that we have today, it's all primarily based on the theory of evolution. We cannot completely ignore it. That's not possible. Then we also have theory of the Big Bang theory, the theory of relativity, Einstein. All these amazing minds came forth. So to summarize it, my friends, the history of our Earth is not very old when you compare it with the history of the entire universe. And no one knows what was there before the Big Bang. There could be multiverse, there could be, we don't know yet. But one day we will find out. To summarize this video, 4.5 billion years ago, this celestial body came into existence, which could not support life. Then 3.8 billion years ago, it started to cool down. And then some 500 million years ago, the Cambrian period happened, where these single-cell living organisms intermingled with other single-cell living organisms, and then came into existence multicellular living organisms. Then started the evolution, all those Homo erectus, Homo Neanderthals, Homo sapiens, chimpanzees, dinosaurs, snakes, bear, lion, everything. All of that was basically part of this massive and long process of evolution. So this is it, guys. I hope through this video, I have added some new things in your life. I hope you guys have learned something from this video. Let me know what you think of this video. Fill the comment section. I will respond to all of the rational comments individually in my forthcoming videos. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and please stay inquisitive.